Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Lisa Martin with Silver Spring Town Center, and we are so happy to have you joining us for this month's Artist Talk, Face to Faces, crafting portraits from recycled materials in the studio with artist Sylvia Douglin. So happy to have Sylvia here. She does some really fantastic work that you're about to see. And very excited to have her along with her sister. Her sister
Hmm.
is our connection since she's on the board of Silver Spring Village, and Silver Spring Town Center partners with Silver Spring Village on our monthly Sparkle program, September through June. And you may have heard that Fortune magazine just declared that Silver Spring is America's #1 city for families to live in. Yay!
Yay!
So this is
Silver Spring!
yay! Thanks to it's really because of all the creative and wonderful and committed people in our community that I think it received that designation. So it's well deserved. I always joke there are two kinds of people in the world: those who live in Silver Spring and those who want to live in Silver Spring. I actually live in Foggy Bottom, but I work and play in Silver Spring.
Your
And
heart
so
is here.
and so we have everyone muted until, during the program, and Sylvia can take Q&A after. Um, but before we get started, I wanted to tell you about some other exciting things we have. Tomorrow we have the Providence Queens Royal College Steel Drum Ensemble from Trinidad and Tobago performing for a special dinner concert at El Golfo restaurant on the patio under the stars at El Golfo. That's 6 to 8:30 tomorrow evening. I hope you can join us. And proceeds will benefit both SSTCI and the tour of these kids. I'm trying to find ways to help them cover their expenses. They have 19 pan players, boys and girls from two different schools, and they're excellent. I knew another version of them with younger, with kids from about 2015, I think was the last time they were here. And they're also going to do our next week's Twilight Tuesdays performance, and that will be 6 to 8 p.m. on Veterans Plaza because they are getting on a plane that night to go back. So we are so excited to have this wonderful steel pan orchestra of young people. So join us tomorrow or next Tuesday. I'll put in the chat our schedule of events. Another exciting program we have coming up is with an SSTCI board member, author author Chana Shanagba will present her book Dancer in the Bullpen. And that's semi-autobiographical, and that will be at the Silver Spring Civic Building next Wednesday, July 31st from 7 to 9 p.m. in person. So join us for that. And then Wednesday, August 7th, since we have a lot of artists on the call, we have our quarterly art salon, and that will be Creativity on the Farm, SSTCI's summer art salon with contemporary eco-folk artist, poet, and award-winning climate justice advocate Neha Mishra, who's also a past board member. And so that will be at the Coiner Farm. We are also hosting SSTCI's annual potluck picnic at the Coiner Farm on Friday, September 6th from 5 to 8 p.m. So mark your calendars, all kinds of fun stuff happening. And now let's get started with the program. Sylvia, I know, has been an artist since early childhood, but she just recently started doing the faces, and she's going to tell us more about it. And she's also recently retired as a corporate trainer, and and just full of all kinds of surprises and has a very impressive background and is just so creative. And I know you'll enjoy this program. Welcome to Sylvia Douglin. Take it away.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm about to share my screen so you can see stuff. I want to thank everybody for coming. Sharing is not turned on. What does that mean?
Oh,
Send request.
yes. Because we were going in and
Yeah.
out and we forgot to reassign. There we go. Should be
So we
good.
are overwhelmed by technology today.
There was
So,
a big Zoom update today too.
all right. Everybody see everything all right? All right. I'm going to assume yes, since nobody's screaming, Lord have mercy. So, welcome everybody. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, South Silver Spring Town Center, for this opportunity to talk to everybody and to share my work. And I want to welcome you to Two Faces. I'm Sylvia Douglin, a proud resident of Silver Spring, the best county in America. What can we say? So by way of introduction, as Lisa said, I've just retired. I've been 30 years a trainer for corporate America, and I've been a fashion designer, image consultant, and all sorts of things such as that over the years. But I retired in February, and now I'm an artist. So I'm really excited about being able to do this. It's something that's always been a part of my life. When my sister Beverly, who's on the call here, and I were at the Art Center in Boston when I was 4 and she was 5, and it's been a big part of my life ever since. So I've used my art in the corporate world. Has always had an eye towards how things lay out on pages and designing classes and things like that. Um, and now I'm able to do it full time. So right now I've been doing the cardboard portraits. I've been painting jackets. That's one of the things that's behind me here is I do painting denim jackets. And let's get started. Click, click. Thank you. These are the faces that I've created so far. And I've been really excited. I'm going to tell you the story about how it all began. So I began making faces last July. It's been 1 year. And it started because I had a space over my television in the living room that needed something in that space. So at 3 a.m., I had this idea for do a mask and fill it in. And I was trying to think what medium should I use. And I knew at the office when I was still working, they had these huge cardboard boxes. So I thought, let me try that. So I grabbed the box and I was off to the races. So I made this mask, and this is my first one, and her name is Zora. And Zora's owner is on the call. I saw him out there. Wayne is out there on the call here today. And I showed Zora to another friend of mine, and she showed it to Wayne, and Wayne said, I need to have that. And therefore, off it went. And then I realized, well, I guess these are pretty good. And I started making these faces myself, more of them. So, but there's been an evolution in how they've been coming together. Again, Zora was the first one, and it was again a mask, sort of idea of an African mask. But after Wayne bought the portrait, I realized I still need something, a spot over the TV. So I made the next one, and it started to make them a little different, less mask, more face. So that was the next one. The following one is for my daughter, and then this one I made for my son. And again, they started to become more and more realistic as I went along because I got more interested in how can I curve the cardboard, try to say that 4 times fast, so that you get the face contours and everything. So that's what I started playing with, and I've been building this over the last year. The materials are basically it's cardboard, paper towel rolls, and bathroom tissue rolls. That sounds a lot better than what else than they really are. Shoe boxes, paper grocery bags, coffee cup rims, bamboo forks show up in everything because they showed up in Zora, my first one. And I started recently adding corks. There is no paint on the portrait, no markers. It is just paper. So we're going to go into how this comes about in the first place. So anybody have questions, comments? You can unmute yourself and say what you need to say. So I begin with the process, and this is the cardboard. You see how big it is. It covers my whole front door. And that's the base. From the base, I start to add shape and dimension. So I outline the shape of the head. And then I start to cut. I'm using box cutters and scissors, but the box cutters give you a smoother line and a lot more control. And I cut it on top of this board so I don't cut my leg off, which is always bad. Nobody wants that. From there, you make the head, which is the bottom layer, and then there's a layer on top with the paper towel roll cut into it's about a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch in between, and that begins to give the actual portrait some dimension. Otherwise, it's just a flat face. So I don't want to have that. It needs to say something. So there's 2 layers on each portrait, at least 2 layers. So you see these 2 layers here. From there, I make the nose. And the nose, to me, is the hardest part of the whole thing. I had spent days put the nose together, take the nose apart. Put the nose together, take the nose apart. Because I'm trying to get it to look like a realistic nose as quickly as I can. So the nose itself is about 10 individual pieces that are cut and fitted together in a variety of shapes so that when you look at the portrait sitting straight up, it looks like a real nose. Then one of the things I use quite a bit in the development of the piece are the layers of corrugated layers of the cardboard. And that gives it texture, and it provides a docking for the eyes. So you peel it off, which is a lot harder than it sounds. Then you're scraping these little pieces off, the little pieces of cardboard everywhere. Oh my goodness. But this begins to have dimension. And again, you have multiple layers on top of that top face shape layer. I hope this is making sense. I use a lot of my sewing because I've been sewing for years and years and years. It was fashion design and all that kind of stuff. And I use my sewing pins a lot to secure the facial features in place, and also as I'm gluing and move things around. So I use the pins quite a bit.
Oh, and do the pins stay in place or just for the design process?
Just during the design process, they come out.
Okay, and what do you use to affix everything and to connect the 2 parts of the face? And
I have my handy glue gun
okay.
that holds it in good and tight. And I have fabric glue that gets used a little bit too, but it takes longer to dry. So if you put something down on it, it can slide, and slide out of place. So the glue gun works the best, and the small glue guns at that. So again, we're talking.
Sylvia,
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
this is Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi. Give me an idea of the dimensions.
Oh, I meant to mention that. Um, can you all see me still?
Yes.
Okay, that's one of the faces behind me.
Okay.
So on average, they're somewhere around 30 inches, 30 to 34 inches long, and about 24 inches wide. I do have a smaller one that I made. It is 20.5 inches long and 18 inches wide. So I was trying to work with different sizes and see how that goes. Well, on average, I personally find it easier if it's larger because you can kind of go to town on that in that space. Thanks. Good question. Thank you.
Sylvia, you have a hand up.
Hi. Thank you for recognizing my hand. Greetings, Sylvia. I think your work is really amazing. Would you tell me, do you do commission work? For example, if I wanted to have a portrait of a person, a loved one or something, would you do something custom?
I can custom. I haven't done something with a likeness yet, but I think I can get a general flavor for the person. But if it's going to look exactly like so and so, I'm not sure. I'm happy to try. Okay.
Okay, the reason also, Sylvia, that you were saying that the faces are the size that they are because manipulating the paper has to be done. And if they're made smaller and you can't get the curve of the paper and to be able to adhere it to the background. So that's the other reason for the size being what it is, so that you can make the features distinctive enough without being too much like, postage stamp size and whatnot.
Yep.
You can really see the 3 dimensions.
Thank you, Beverly, because once you get smaller you are, when you start curving, what you'll see in a few minutes, it's really hard and you lose the complexity of it. And it hasn't worked so far for me. So as you see here, as
Sylvia,
I'm starting
there is another hand.
okay.
So
I
sorry.
Yeah,
I
I
did.
can't see the hands, so
Oh,
somebody
okay.
can help me there.
Okay. Hi. This is a question I think for the facilitators. Maybe Lisa can answer this question, but do you have an event where the people you feature in these events can sell their merchandise, that can sell their art?
Lisa?
Yes, we do have several events throughout the year where artists can sell. We have vendor opportunities at our blues festival, which is every June. And our next opportunity is our Harvest Moon Festival, which is on the plaza, and that will be Sunday, September 22nd. And then in the winter, we also do an around the world bazaar. So I can put info in the chat about contacting me if you'd like to get we have vendor spaces for just $75 for the Harvest Moon Festival, Sunday, September 22nd from 1 to 7 p.m.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Cool. I start then to apply the corrugated side of the cardboard, and the reason that it's different, goes in different directions, is because it provides an illusion of the face curving a little bit, and the vertical corrugation helps me anchor things like the nose in, as well as the eye socket. It provides a docking space for further eye features. The eyes are about 6, just what you see here in the second, the picture on the right is about 6 different cuts, and then they're arranged and layered so that it creates an eye that's not just a flat eye looking at you, but it looks like an eyeball. So I'm continuing to work on making them more and more realistic. When I do the faces, I think the first mask I did, the eyes are going straight ahead, but everything after that, the eyes look off to the side, because I have some friends that don't like portraits because it gives the impression that this thing is looking at you. And so I want to have things, the eyes are designed to look off-site, so people don't have that feeling with the when they're looking at the masks. So then from there, I begin to add the eye shapes and the facial contouring. So as you see right here, on the left-hand side, two portraits, it's just a flat face, but everybody has a forehead. So you need to have something that's going to give that shape. And I really came across this when I was doing my first mask for my son Joseph, and I was doing the first of the male portraits done. And the guys have typically a thicker brow bone structure, so you have to give them something. And then there's a shadow that falls over the eyelids and everything. So I came up with this contour to create the forehead, so the face is not flat. And then I start working again on the eyes some more. So it's a more close-up. In that, again, the docking into the vertical cardboard corrugated is the eyelid, the eyelashes that go under the lid and are curled. This particular picture is of these lashes are made out of paper bags, and the thin paper bags, not the regular grocery, but a regular, I don't know, gift bag or something like that. So it's the thinner weight paper.
Bags.
Thank you, sandwich bags. I knew I liked you, Beverly. So, and then you have to curl the eyelashes and everything. In some of the female portraits, they have their lashes are black because they're wearing mascara, of course, and they have eyeliner. So you have the top lid that sits in, and it's also curved, so it doesn't lay flat against the eyeball. And then the bottom lid also curved, and then the under the eye is created from the bathroom tissue roll. And I've used that because it's already curved, and it has a softer turn to it, and then it fits around the bottom lid. So the eyelids and everything, that's another about six different cuts that have to be fit in, but they're not cut exactly. They have to be larger than the eye socket, so they curve outward. So it's a lot. I love making these. I just love making these. My family now says, "What are you doing? Cutting cardboard?" Yes, I am.
And how do you get the glint in the eyes? The little
Well, that's all part of the layering.
layering of,
Yeah. So I'm trying to see, where did this thing go? Okay, here, come on. So it's, again, there's a layer for around the eye, then the eye color, then the pupil, and then the light that bounces off the eye. So each one of those is a separate cut and laid in there, so it looks like an eye would, and it wouldn't be a flat look to it.
And how
So
do you
again,
get, oh,
Hmm?
sorry. I'm
ahead.
sorry. How do you get the forehead, the curve on the forehead?
This one is cut with the vertical. My mind is saying nap, which is a sewing term, up and down of the cardboard, and so you physically have to turn it with your hand, and you cut it out so it matches the facial layer, and then turn it, and then it sits inside the nose, the bridge of the nose. So it's, and then just how much you curve it so it doesn't look folded, but curved.
Sylvia, what was your
Yes, ma'am.
inspiration? I mean, how did you come up with this?
I love people's faces. I just love people's faces. I remember sitting on the subway one day and just looking at all the different ethnicities on the subway from Silver Spring to downtown DC. And I'm fascinated by the fact that everybody has two eyes, a nose, and a mouth, and everybody looks different. Even identical twins look different. And why does it look different? That, the turn of this a millimeter or two is going to make you look different than the person next to you. I just think that's fascinating. Just love
Why the
faces.
cardboard?
Because it was available, and that is what I thought about at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's called a happy accident.
That's exactly what it was. And they had these big boxes they had in the office, and nobody was using them. So there we have it.
Great.
Sylvia, do
Mhm.
you have an image in your mind when you create them? And my second question is, when you name them, I'm a happy owner of my own piece, and it is gorgeous, and I know
Beverly
where
Ann.
that came from. Absolutely. Do you have a face in mind, and do you just, as you create it, when you see it, do you name them, or do you start out with, I'm creating Beverly Ann today?
I start off with just the face, and the name comes together. In your case, Nicole, there was a name that you wanted, and therefore it was going to be Beverly Ann. But in some cases, the whole thing comes together as I move along. I don't have a pattern for things. I have a pattern for a couple of things in this space, but there aren't many. And it just comes from the imagination. That's why I've got to practice. So if somebody wanted me to do a likeness of somebody, then I'm going to have to practice that. But they just come. And the names, sometimes they come from different people. And sometimes the person will ask for somebody, they want it named after somebody, or I think of some wacky name. And then that's just my name in my head. It also gives me a listing so I know how many I've done, so I can keep some sort of a record. And then people get them and they want to name them something else. Because I sent one out to the West Coast. Was named Humphrey, but I see the name has changed when I talk to my friend out there who owns the piece. So, you can call them anything that you want. I have them in my records as something.
Sylvia, you have a couple of hands, Donna Sampson and Stacy Hartwell.
Donna Sampson, what you
I
got?
already asked my question. I forgot to take my hand down.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll fill in for that legacy hand. Sylvia, I see that, this collection is fabulous. It's really great. But how does it fit into your broader body of work or your artistic journey? Like I see you've got your, the jackets with a large, head on it as well. So where does your cardboard collection fit in with, your other work?
The cardboard collection came first because I started doing that last July. The jacket painting came along because I retired and I was sitting around. I was going to wear this jacket somewhere, and I kept looking at it. This looks drab, so I started painting. So on this jacket, it started on the front, and I started putting these little white lines on it, and then it sort of grew. Then it needed something. So it has flowers and they're 3D. And then, you have to put something on the absolute back. And that's where she came from. So like I say, I've been an artist forever. Beverly and I both have been artists forever. And we just like making things.
And Sylvia,
So,
that's hand-drawn, correct?
It's all hand drawn. The flowers and everything. There are silk flowers that are glued on, but everything else is hand painted.
If Sylvia, I'd love to show that in detail after we take down the presentation. Your video will be larger, and then we can see it closer. The
Okay,
jacket.
cool.
So let's not forget.
All right.
Should be great. Are there any more? I'm sorry, I'm having trouble seeing who's raising their hands, but it looks like the hands are all down now again. Okay. Cool.
Will
So
you
I
be
start. Hmm?
so sorry. First time I didn't raise my hand and I talked over you.
Uh-oh, I'm never going to forgive you, Stacey.
I feel that way. So will you be exhibiting in September at the Harvest Moon Festival?
That's what Lisa and I were just talking about that before we started today. And that's one of the things that I'm doing is I'm trying to build up a collection. Some of the pieces have been sold, and I've got about 1, 2, 3, about 4 or 5 here in the house, and I'm going to start to. I'm just keep working them. So when if I'm at the Harvest Moon Festival, that I've got something to show and to have available for sale.
Well, I understand the importance of having a body of work to bring to market. So makes sense.
Exactly.
All right. Well, sharpen your scissors.
Yes, ma'am. I'm on it. I'm on it. So I start building the ears again so that they have some dimension and some it looks more like an ear that's not just flat ear. It's got shadows and curves and everything in it. So come on, machine. Click. Thank you. And the ears are attached on the bottom layer, and that's why there are multiple layers on the for each face, so that the ears don't sit right here on the side of your head. They sit back some from the head. And I'm working to curve the ears so they don't stand out straight, so they lay flatter against the head. So I'm practicing with all that sort of thing. And then I start to cut the cheekbones so the face has some expression and dimension so that the cheekbones go on, and they also will recreate the smile. When I'm watching stuff on TV and they'll have a close-up of somebody, I will zoom in, their face goes this way, but they need a curve right here. This is what I do all day. Welcome to my world, people. And then we put on the chin and the lips and the chin. All of the faces that I've done so far have either they're smiling or have some sort of a pleasant expression. I'm not making ones that growl at you. Nobody wants a great big 30-inch thing that's snarling at you all day. You want something that looks pleasant and looks cheerful. So they're smiling, so they have to put in lips, teeth, this piece right above between below your nose, this whole piece here needs to be added, and then the smile lines on the side. So it gives the face expression, it gives the face dimension, and you got to have that. And the chin is shaped so it comes out from the base face piece. So because your chin doesn't lay flat, it curves outward. So everything has texture and curving. So you're spending time, then you cut the half moon to the top of it. It's not as thick as the chin part. So and then it's cut so that it bends in like your chin normally was to create dimensions on your face. So on some of my portraits have hands and some don't. And the first one I put the hand on was my son's, and I literally held my hand up to took a picture of it. And if I hold my hand like this and you put the finger this way, take a picture of it and recreate it, and that's how the hands are built. So again, some have hands and some don't. And you'll see here the expression. I think this is yours, Nicole. I think in the process, where it's smiling, it's happy. You have the smile lines and the cuts to give it expression. There's eyelashes, she has eyelashes, real eyelashes, eyeliner, and the eyebrows, which also gives expression. Eyebrows are a big deal because it can change the direction of your whole face. One of my best friends too is a makeup artist, and she's always talking about your eyebrows make all the difference. Yes, 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 yes. So that's how we put the face together. Another little thing here is the earrings here are 7-Eleven coffee cup rims. And the bracelet is the bottom of the cup that sits the absolute bottom, the curve there, that's what the bracelet's made of. Everything is recycled, cleaned. It's not used coffee cup, icky coffee cup. That's what I'm using for that. I've also used, you get the little applesauce for your house, the little rim on that. I've trimmed that off, washed it up good, and used that for earrings as well. So here's the base face of one of the latest one. That's the one that's behind me. And anybody who knows me knows that I love eyeglasses. I have at least 20 pairs of eyeglasses because they have to match. You can't have on brown and be wearing black eyeglasses. That's just wrong. So I had to, of course, incorporate them into the portraits. So on this finished face, her face is done, but she doesn't have any hair. So this is the process used to create the hair. First, it has to sit on a base. Going to decide what do I want the hair to look like. And again, I'm trying to incorporate different cultures into my work. So it's not all African Americans. That I've got one I was working on that's got sort of an Asian face, but I'm working to expand a little bit. But you start with the base, and then you cut that base out, and it also has the curve. It has to match the bottom layer. So because this is going to sit on that bottom base. And then you have hair, and you see that she is a UPS box. So that's where she started. And then we start with the hair. So the hair is a paper bag, regular paper bag from Snyder's grocery store. You then, from sewing, I have the rotary cutter, which is better than scissors because it cuts in a straight line. And you literally go over with on the green, whatever this thing is called, this green thing here. And you just start making cuts. So here's, I started out here, and this is one full bag, and then there was still more. So you end up with a whole bag of strips. And sometimes I cut them down, sometimes I don't. So as you can see from this one, there's each strip is curled, glued, and applied individually. It's not just stick a bunch on, you throw a bunch at the thing. No, you have to curl each one. So in this particular portrait, well, I guess in most of them, it's the paper bag and the corrugated side of the cardboard cut into strips and curled, and the smooth side of the cardboard, so that the hair has some texture. In this as well, the eyeglasses, I don't know where I was, but I got something with white cardboard. I was so excited because I could then put them and use them for something else. I get very excited about cardboard. I have to tell you the story of Janet, who's on here. Janet and I went to IKEA to buy one of those 8-up cabinet things, and it came in this cardboard box. I couldn't have been more excited. And Janet continues to tease me about how excited I was about the cardboard because it curved beautifully. Oh, it was wonderful. So each curl is put on individually. And you'll notice too, on this one, she has it pierced ear and a ring. And those two things are made from aluminum foil, pushed into a made into a little ball. And on the ring, the base of the band on the ring is from Planters peanuts. You pull the lid off, and inside it's silver. So that's where that came from. And recycling. That's my name of my company is Recycling Refined. So individual curls, you see the earring put in there, and you literally curl each one. I have a pair of tweezers that once you get the strip and you cut it down, you literally sit and turn it. You curl it like you curl ribbon for Christmas, and then you take the tweezers and twist again so they come in tight. It depends on the size of curl that I'm looking for. On the side of this, hey Elsa, on the side of this, she has what appears to be cornrows on the side to pull your hair back, cornrows tight here, and that's with the corrugated side of the cardboard cut into a strip, sliced on the back and bent to appear to be braids. The thing about this is when you start looking at cardboard, you see that some things are different colors. So some of the Amazon boxes on the interior is a darker colored cardboard than the face is, so that you have a contrast between the face and the hair. So I look for, which is, they're not as prevalent as regular cardboard, but I look for different colored corrugated side. And then they get the bamboo forks go in there as well. When I'm doing a face that has straight hair, the same process, basic process applies, where you make the strips, and you apply them they sit on part of the bathroom tissue roll, so it doesn't lay flat on the head, it's lifted a bit, so that there's a bit of a curve. You apply those together, then once all the hair is on, you spray it with water, otherwise the hair just sticks out like you've been hit with an electrical shock. So it wets it down so it settles down on the portrait, and then you cut it and arrange it. So for the male face, did you see, if you can see Wayne Williams up there, this is the face behind him. This is the base face before there was anything added to it. And so he has facial hair, mustache, and beard. So again, the strips and the tweezers to twist and curl, and you twist really tightly. And you see the white strips are an envelope that I got in the mail, some kind of business, something or another. And it has the black and white on the inside, so you can't see through the envelope. Well, I was so excited to see that, oh my goodness, now they can have a gray streak in his beard. I was so excited.
Wow. I think you have a hand up here. Was there someone?
Thank you. Yes. The work that you're showing is wonderfully detailed. How much time does it take on average to make one of these? And if I wanted to order one, how much lead time would you need in order to maybe have something to me before one of the major holidays coming up?
Okay. It takes about 4 days. And I say that because you do a little, think a little, do a little, think a little, go to lunch, hang out with somebody, come back, go do a little, think a little. So it's about 4 days, because it takes a minute for it to really sink in. I don't like that. And then the nose can be a whole day of taking it apart and putting it back together again. And then to clean it up so that it looks professional when it's delivered to people. So if you wanted to get something for, say, January 1st, then ideally I'd like to have about 2 or 3 weeks to get it to you, to put it together. And when something is commissioned, then I will have a conversation with you about some of the things that you want. On my website, there's a form that gets filled out. That's, do you want a beard? Do you not want a beard? Do you want a male or a female? What culture do you want this to be? All that kind of stuff. If you wanted blue eyes, then I have some shoe boxes with the blue on them. I can give the person blue eyes, so it's things like that. So you can request something specifically so that you have what you want. Do you want a hand or not want a hand? That kind of stuff.
Is your website posted in the chat or on the literature?
It says right there, www.recyclingrefined.net.
Oh, okay.
You know I got to tease you now, right?
Yeah. Well, I like for people to put it in the chat for me so I don't have to type it.
I'll put it in the chat. I'll do it.
Okay.
Lisa.
Okay.
Sylvia, you've got 15 minutes.
Yep, I've got my clock here. So you take the strips, you turn it tight, and then that's the mustache. Again, each thing is laid out individually, and the mustache doesn't just come down. It has to adhere to the shape of the face and the shape of the smile. If the cheeks go out wide, the mustache has to roll with it. If you have a beard, the same thing. It doesn't just happen. On this particular portrait, again, you see behind you with Wayne, his hair is cork. So you take the cork and you steam the cork like you're steaming broccoli. Steam the cork, which softens it up. Then you can slice the cork into several pieces, then you cut those in half, and then you again apply individually. And that's what you get.
Wow, so interesting. Great.
The things like the teeth are from the shoebox, the eye, the whites of the eye is shoebox, the eyebrows are also a shoebox. And you put it all together, and this is what you get. This is the back of the portrait that's behind me, but it hangs on a gift bag cord. Everything is recycled stuff. So the handles on the gift bag, that's what it hangs on. It's light. If the thing weighs 2 pounds, I'd be astonished. Everything is signed, everything has a name, and everything has a number. So this particular one that's behind me now is number 11. And you can see she's a U-Haul box. So again, that's all the faces that I have done.
Wow. And they all have human names?
They all have human names.
Great.
So you have Zora, Jasper Franklin, which is the one named after my grandfather. That's one made for my son. This is the first Beverly Ann, that was for my daughter. This is Humphrey, whose name has been changed. This is Beverly Ann, Penelope, Mari, Malika, named for my sister-in-law, Frank, named for my father, Nita Francis, named for my parents, and this is Coco.
Oh, so cute. And they have so much personality too. In addition to, technically really showing the shape of things, but there's just so much personality, and I'm wondering what kind of advice you would give to an aspiring face making artist on getting that, like, that personality in there.
I don't know. One of the things that I started to do with this last one that I sent that is shown here is I put a card with the portrait when I shipped it that had this wacky personality of who this person was. And I think he came from Minot, North Dakota. He prefers Pepsi to Coca-Cola. He hates asparagus. You know, he's a professional skater. It's all just this nutty things that I put
Oh,
together.
funny.
So I'm
Well,
sorry.
yeah. The one thing technically I think that you don't always see when people make faces, you add that little puff that's underneath the eye. And
Mhm.
that I'm looking at all the different faces, that really adds to the expression. You
Yep.
know, if the
And
eyes,
this one has the smile lines.
yeah.
But again, when I'm watching television and I'm looking at people, and every young, old, everybody has this curve. And if you don't put it in, your face looks flat. And
Yeah.
as you smile, this is more pronounced as you smile or as you frown, different expressions. It's there. So it needs to be on in the portrait itself.
So
With
interesting.
the cheekbones, like with this one, it's individual. Thank you, Wayne. The individual lines that create the smile lines for the face. So that again, it reinforces the expression. So it's not just a smile where the eyes don't smile as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Part of the whole thing, with pulling these things together, is really studying the face itself, and not just the expression, but the anatomy of how of the muscles and the bones underneath it. And Sylvia takes a lot of time to really understand how a face is made. So again, you do have cheekbones, there are muscles under here, there's bone under the chin. And so a lot of people are just like, there's eyes, nose, and mouth, yes, but they doesn't register the musculature of it. And I think with her studying on faces so much, that comes through with making each one of them have more personality, like she said, than just being flat. The other thing is really that focus on the eyes, because they really, as you were talking, Lisa, you were saying, they really look 3D. They don't just look, like a couple of cardboard ovals stuck on somebody's face. It really goes to adding that, what's the expression? The eyes are the windows to the soul almost.
yeah.
And it comes across, I think, in the way she puts her pieces together. I'm very proud of her. She does a great job.
Thank you,
Definitely.
Beverly.
And she has an invitation to teach a workshop for us, which I hope she'll do. It would be for all abilities. So how long would someone be able to create a basic face with some of the depth? I know yours are much more detailed, but
We can do something that's a little more simple. And again,
yeah.
have to think through who's going to be there, because again, a 7-year-old is going to lose a thumb doing this, and I'm not going to be responsible for the
Yeah.
thumbless children of Silver Spring. So, because I use box cutters, I use the X-Acto knives. In order to get the detail, you need to have that level. But at least as you and I can talk about what might be able to be pre-cut, and then the younger people can then add to that with just plain scissors and whatnot. But we'll have to think it through, because I wouldn't want anybody to get hurt in the process of doing this.
Right.
We can bring some things to make hair and whatnot. So.
Oh, great. And a quick question, do you use an eyelash curler to make the eyelashes?
No, I use scissors to curl it like you curl ribbon for Christmas.
Right.
And you have to do it very carefully so you don't tear it and it pops out.
Great.
Sylvie, did you want to show your jackets and all in the few minutes remaining?
Yes.
Hello. Could I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Sharon.
I've had my hand up, and I'm trying to
Go, Sharon, go.
I'm trying to be polite, Sylvia, but I have been following you. I mean, the first time I saw your work, was on this platform, and I was like, "Who is this woman?" And I was like, "Okay, I need to know." And so I contacted Lisa, and she told me that you were coming on. It was just psychic, you know. Thank you, Lisa. But I just love your work. I mean, it's paper engineering, which is something that I love. I love and working. If you want to get some ideas about, you know, doing it with children, I mean, I taught paper engineering second and fourth graders, and you know, and never lost a finger. So you know, but the other thing
No children were harmed in the making of this piece.
okay, but the other thing was, yeah, that's why I should put that. Oh, the other thing I wanted to ask you: do you ever think about putting them, or do any of your collectors put them in shadow boxes?
Yes, Wayne. When Wayne got Zora, he did. Go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Sylvia. This was fantastic. I just love the genius that goes into all of this. I tried the very first one to put in a shadow box and could not find one it would fit, only because of the depth from the nose to the back. The shadow boxes aren't deep enough. I found ones wide enough, but not deep enough. And I considered building an extension on one. But what I ended up doing was putting it on foam core, black foam core board. And actually the dimension kind of amplifies by doing that versus a shadow box. So
Great.
you can see the one behind me is on a foam core board. Yeah.
I was just thinking about the cleaning of it, just making sure that it stayed. Do you put like a safeguard or something on it just to protect the cardboard itself?
No, but it's in my dusting ritual. So.
This is just great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be getting in touch with you too.
Yes, ma'am. Happy to.
And you, if you stop the share of the PowerPoint, we'll be able to see the jacket.
Okay.
Before we forget.
Stop share. Stop share.
I know. But,
okay.
Although I love looking at these faces, it's just, I feel like I'm looking at real people.
So the jacket is just a plain denim blazer that I was wearing to work. That now that I retired, I can have more oomph. So it began just this way, and it has the detail on the pocket, and this is bubble paint, and it has a curve that goes around here with like a vine, and then we get to the face. And its face is just hand painted, and with the curl, the flowers in the hair and everything. And then I went down to Michael's, and they had the silk flowers, and that's that one.
Wow.
Then it started with the piece jacket. And again, I've had this denim jacket ever since. And this says peace, this one says peace. And this one says Black Girl Magic over here. And it has a face on the side here of a person. It has joy, and then the things that pasted on, and love. It has vote, inspiration for folks. The heart that has this one I got from my mother. It's got to be 10 years ago. And then here is a painting of my son, my daughter, and my sister. And they all helped me. And then this is a drawing of my grandson, Zach. that sits right
Put your
here.
screen down a little bit, Sylvia, so we can see that, because we can't see the bottom very well. And then again, we're
Oh.
getting, tilt
Tilt
the
the
screen.
screen.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. Thank
Yep.
you.
Zach did this square. And then it's the energy and happiness.
Wow.
So
And
I
do you
make,
use fabric paint?
yes.
Yeah.
And I've done one for another friend and one for my daughter. And again, if somebody wants a jacket on the website, you can order a jacket. And it asks questions then too. Of what do you want on it? Are the things that I'm doing one for a friend where they're doing they've got the sleeves get done as well. So this one says friendship. And this one says be kind. So we ask people, what do you want on it? So down one sleeve, he wants to have the names of he's got a lot, like 5 or 6 kids of siblings. So they'll have the kids' names down the side. And I made one for another friend, for my extra daughter. And she was in the Navy, so it's got Navy stuff on it. She loves bingo, so we had bingo on the other sleeve. So the jackets are personalized for each person.
Oh, those are wonderful too. Wow.
So all Billy and I need is a chance to make something.
Yeah. And Beverly, do you do this? Do you do similar types of
I
artwork?
do completely different things. I make boxes and jewelry and little animals. I crochet animals. I do different kinds of things. Not so much word things that and then with like the Lindsays are on the call. Hello, Lindsays. And we're in a writing group together. So there are all kinds of things that we create that are just a little different. So we always make stuff. We've been making things, as Sylvia said, since we were little children. We're not sportsy, we're artsy in our family.
Beverly makes wonderful jewelry, marvelous jewelry.
Yeah. Oh, she
Yep.
made that box. Oh,
Made that
cool.
Yes, she
box,
made
yep.
this box.
And it's
So
got seeds and nuts and beans and things like that on it. Initialed on the inside, painted on the bottom and signed. I made this necklace that I'm wearing now out of electrical pieces and rope and stuff like that. So we
Cool.
make stuff all the time. Thank you, Jocelyn and David.
You're welcome.
we love making things.
We love making
Yeah,
things.
well, I know who we're going to be inviting to do another artist talk. And then hopefully have you both lead some workshops for us.
And we
Well,
can do
this
some of
is
that too.
I'm happy
so
to.
many nice surprises, and it's just so wonderful to learn about Sylvia's behind the scenes, how she makes it happen. She's giving away all her trade secrets, but a lot of it is truly talent. You can know the technique, but you have to have a combination of both to really end up with this type of result. So it's been fabulous. So thank you so much to Sylvia and Beverly also for connecting us.
I'm happy. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the folks who have come out. I see my friend from Florida, my buddy, Elsa. And I see lots of Donna and Nicole and Janet and Stacy, Deshawn. Thank you all for coming. Did I get